So you probably already explained the story a few times, but
Yeah.
Will and Drew, they were holders at Daniel. Is that when it started for you as a holder? Or did you go back to middle school, or when did it start?
Yeah, so middle school, Will's the oldest, and it's kind of like the first time you start kicking field goals, I guess. And they just knew he had good hands, so they just put him there. And then Drew was the grade below Will, so then Will moved on to high school, and they just threw Drew in there. And then by the time I got there, it was just kind of like expected of me to do that. And so they threw me in there, and then while I was in middle school, Will was holding for the high school for 4 years, and then Drew was holding. So then at Daniel, one of the old special teams coaches he's probably been there for over 40 years. So my first ever practice as a freshman, he was like, "You're my new holder," and so yeah, just kind of got thrown into it, and ever since middle school, really.
So, were you good at it when they first put you at holder, or was it?
I think in middle school we actually went for two a lot, but it was just kind of something where I could catch the ball and kind of just figure it out. But the more reps I got, obviously, the better I've gotten. And then in high school, I was the varsity holder for 3 years, so I got tons and tons of reps and just got better and better each year.
How much were Will and Drew during that process, like telling you this is how you do it?
Yeah.
Giving you pointers, like how much did you learn?
A lot. We've had a lot of conversations about holding, probably more than most brothers. But it's a position that a lot of people probably don't really understand some of the intricacies, just because kickers like the ball leaned a certain way, and then the spot, and then obviously getting the laces out of there. So there's a lot of things that go into it that people don't really understand, and they've definitely been able to help me out a lot with that.
6 years and Drew his time, and now there's a streak that's probably 800-900 kicks long where there hasn't been a bobbled snap.
Yeah.
Any pressure with that, and do Will and Drew tell you, hey, you don't break that?
No, I wouldn't say there's pressure. I mean, I just try to go out there every kick and make that rep the best I can. Will did a great job for 5 years. Drew did a great job last year. I just try to go out there and do my job to the best of my ability each kick.
Is this something that you've known for years, like I'm probably going to end up doing this at Clemson?
Yeah, I'd say probably the last few years in high school. Growing up, I was always a big basketball guy. I thought I could go play basketball, but I'm not 6'5", so I figured football might be my thing. Yeah, just I'd gotten really good at it, and then I enjoy doing it, and it's a great way to find a way on the field and contribute to the team.
I think Will, Drew would talk about this, but just obviously you go watch a lot of games through there, to finally be there on the field in Memorial Stadium doing this. I mean, what was that first time like?
It is insane. It was every time I go out there, it's a dream come true. Just growing up, that's the amount of times I've played football at the practice fields or the stadium, just dreaming of doing it in front of fans and actually running down the hill and going out there and being one of the 11 on the field. It's something special and something I'll never take for granted. I know not many people get to do it, and I've been extremely blessed to have the opportunity. It's so cool. Every time I run out there, I'm just like, wow, this is real. I'm living out my dream.
I guess the first one was Charleston Southern.
Yeah. Well, last year I got in on punt return versus LA Tech, which it didn't even feel real. I was just like, whoa, what just happened? But then I didn't get in the rest of the year. So then obviously Duke was away, but Charleston Southern, I got in that first. I think we scored pretty quickly first drive. And that first field goal was like right in front of the students and everything. It was super cool. And then got to play some offense that game too. So it was awesome.
Were there any nerves, or was it all relief when it went down?
I really just get so lost in the moment and just focus on my process. Obviously it's a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs, but I just focus on the ball coming to me, just me and the ball, and just get locked in on my process.
All right. I'm sorry. David Hood with TigerNet.com. Throw a little smack talk in here. I've told you I think you're probably the better receiver of the three brothers, right? Do you feel that way? And do you feel like you'll have maybe a better career as this goes along in the receiving room than the other two?
I mean,
Careful.
Will and Drew both had great careers here. Will was a 5-year starter. I think he started more games than anyone in college football history. Him and Will Spires, I think. But he had an unbelievable career, really carved out a nice role. Senior year, started 3 games at receiver, had some big plays. And Drew's progression through his career was insane. From where he was as a freshman to where he was last year, he was a legit dude last year that could have played at a lot of schools. So they have set the bar really high for me, just with how they handle themselves, how they carry themselves, their work ethic. So I like to think I got a good chance to have a good career here, but I know I'm young and just getting going. But if I can have a career like they did, then I'll be very happy.
Talk about thinking you were a basketball player. That's her pointing. Did you go to one-on-one with your dad a lot growing up?
Yeah, my dad is a very good basketball player. He always said he wanted to walk on at Alabama, but they only had 15 scholarships or whatever, so he chose football. But he plays to this day. He loves playing basketball, and obviously I got 2 older brothers, and then my dad's very competitive, so very competitive household growing up, playing just about anything. Basketball is definitely one of them, and it's kind of one of my sports that I really liked. And my dad's, one of his life goals is to not lose to one of his sons before he turned 50. And I actually beat him when he was 49 for the first time, and he was not happy about it. But if we played now, I think it would be a beatdown for sure. That was when I really started to develop a little bit physically, like junior, sophomore year of high school, whenever. Just kind of getting a little bit stronger and a little bit quicker, taller. Just kind of time caught up with him a little bit. I think I can drive by him a little bit, but I do trust my jump shot, but that game I can't specifically remember, but I know we've had some battles since, and I don't think he wants to play me right now.
So what is it like by Will this? Just again, having your dad as your coach, like how does he treat you like at practice and during games like you're just anybody else, or is there a little bit of a difference?
Yeah, I think I'm just one of the guys. Obviously, I'm his son, and that's my dad. So it's like he might watch me a little bit more or something, but he's got a program to run. Like he's got so many people and people needing him and things he's got to be in charge of. He just expects me to put my best foot forward in everything that I do, just like with every other player, and just go out there and compete to the best of my abilities.
Up at Hughes, when Jonathan's going out to try the second field goal, you go over to him and kind of put your hands on his helmet and you talk to him. You're kind of that last line of defense for a kicker before he goes out there and kicks. What do you tell him? Because you almost have to be psychologist, teammate, cheerleader,
Yeah.
all in one. What do you tell kickers at that point?
I just tell him, hey man, I got all the confidence in the world in you. Let's go do this thing. Sometimes I don't really know what I'm gonna say. It just comes out. Yeah, that was a huge kick by Jonathan. Something we needed. Gave us some good momentum coming out of half. In a tough place to play, but yeah, it was a big time kick.
Was it you that kept up with Jonathan and told Drew your dad about him, or was it?
Yeah, we had kind of stayed in touch a little bit because he was on the team last year, and he's probably one of the funniest guys we have in this building. So we were friends, and I knew he was still in school, and yeah.
What'd you tell your dad? Was you like, hey, he's at the beach, but he wants to kick? How did that go?
I didn't really know. I didn't know if he had a job or anything. I just knew he was in the master's program, and things just kind of took off out of nowhere.
Talk about the intricacies of being a holder. Two different kickers, like, to each of them, Robert and Jonathan, one it held differently, and how does that work between the two?
They're both great to work with. They've been great. Robert was great all off season, and John's been great ever since he came back. Just like they're not very like they're just very chill and relaxed. And obviously they have certain ways they prefer, maybe a little more lean or a little less lean towards me, but they're both just been super great to work with and really make my job easy.
I guess, John, is it more lean or is it less?
A little less. Yeah. I couldn't tell you why, but that's just what they tell me. So, yeah.
Any questions for Clay from Zoom?
Yeah, Clay, this is Pete Yacovelli from the Associated Press. Can you start out by telling us every secret that your father has?
Every secret.
Clay, what's it like to grow up around Clemson football? I mean, some families, some guys, some children might shy away from what their dad does, what their older brothers do, that kind of thing, but it seems like you wanted to embrace it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was born in Greenville. My dad got the job here in February of '03 when my mom was pregnant with me. So I've lived in Clemson my whole life, born and raised here, and football is all I've ever known. My dad's done it my whole life. My brothers played football. So then third grade, I started playing football, and I love the competition. I love the team camaraderie and the relationships that are built through football, the life lessons. And I love the game of football. I love everything about it. And I really could not have pictured my life without football.
Did you ever consider, well, maybe I need to get away for a little bit and not be, a mile of play, or go to school a mile away from where I grew up?
I mean, obviously you think about stuff, but ultimately Clemson is where I grew up dreaming, wanting to play, and to have the opportunity to play here is something I could not pass up. Just being a part of this is truly a dream come true, and it's an honor to go out there and wear that pall in front of 85,000.
I was going to say, lastly, when you're finished here holding, is that when your dad gets your mom ready to start holding for kicks?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe our dog. Who knows? But we'll figure something out, I guess.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Clay, you mentioned being born and raised here, with your father being one win away from tying Frank Howard for the school record for wins by a head coach in Clemson history. I mean, what does that mean to your family, especially the way his career started here?
Yeah, it's so special. I mean, Coach Howard is obviously a legend. He's one of the best coaches to ever do it, and just to be able to really recognize my dad, what a great accomplishment. It's something that my family will cherish forever, and I know Clemson has been changed greatly ever since my dad got here for the better, and it's truly just a culmination of all the hard work that he's put in throughout his life and his coaching career, and he's earned every bit of it, and he's got a lot more wins to come.
I guess you said your mom was pregnant with you, like right when your dad started. Like, do you even remember the hard times, or have you just kind of lived during the?
Yeah, my dad's first year here, I was just born in July. So I was very young, but I definitely have a lot of memories of, really about the 09-10 season is where I really start to really. I visually remember being at Auburn and Jamie Harper diving in the end zone, just stuff like that. And then from then on, I remember everything pretty well. Favorite memory? Probably seeing Hunter Renfrow catch that touchdown pass in Tampa. That was pretty great. I was on the sideline. Yeah, it was awesome.
Again, growing up, your dad's this big deal, and they're winning all these national championships. Like every kid asking you for tickets. Like, what is it like?
It was great. The Clemson community is so awesome. So growing up, I mean, it's just all I've ever known. Is my dad's the coach at Clemson, and I got such a great group of friends, and really everyone at school. Like, that's just how I was my whole life. I was Coach Swinney's son, so it wasn't really anything different to them. And I'm thankful for that I was able to just fit in like every other kid, and I definitely had a great experience growing up here.
Clay, you've got, I mean, just because I know probably a little bit more than most, because I've seen it up close. All right, so you had Davis brothers, you had Turnip Seed, you have Brody Kahn, you have Venables, Sweeneys that are out there, Turnip Seed, that's, you have all these kids that when you were really young, all of you are running around together and stuff, and now you're here. I mean, is it surreal?
It is so surreal. We talk about that all the time. We had a squad of coaches' kids when we were coming up. We used to call ourselves CKU, Coaches Kids University. We even made shirts one time. But it was me and my three brothers, the Davis boys, the two Piermans, the Batsons, the Venables, Chandler Morris. We were rolling deep. Chris Rumpf back in the day. And so it's crazy now to look up and see all of us grown, and how many of us have gone on to play college football. Like Chandler's the starting quarterback at TCU. Chris Rumpf just had a strip sack yesterday for the Chargers. It's crazy how many people have grown up, and now, Ben Batson's a strength coach, and it's just crazy. It's really cool because we had a great squad, a lot of fun football games out here at the practice field.
Do you remember your first actual appearance on the field? Because people may not know, there should be an age limit that you couldn't be on the sideline. Like your brothers were moving, you had to still sit in the stands with your mom, which I know killed you probably. But do you remember your first actual appearance on the field?
I don't remember the game, but I remember being so excited to be down there, and I did my dad gave me a little touch chart, so I felt like I had a big job to do, and I know my mom was very upset because her baby was leaving her in the stands, and she was like, well, I get to see him all week, and then he just takes him on Saturday. Yeah, it was really cool growing up, being able to be around the players and on the sidelines and stuff.
One more, Roscoe. Just the last one for you, and this is more about your mom. Breast Cancer Awareness Month here this month. Obviously, we've seen it affect her family first and foremost. So, mom's impact on you. Everybody always talks about dad's impact on you, but what about mom's impact on you?
Yeah, that's a great question. My mom is the most amazing woman I've ever met. She is the nicest person anyone has ever met, and anyone that's met her will agree with that statement. My whole life, she's just been such a great example of how to love others and how to serve others, and she truly shows Jesus in everything that she does. And yes, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is a huge thing, especially for my family. And we pray for anyone who has breast cancer or any sorts of cancer, and we hope that we can just raise awareness, especially during this month, and find a cure.
Anybody else for Cliff?
One more question about the CKU shirts. So did it have a purple and orange theme, or was it?
Yeah, so it was a white long sleeve shirt with like a big purple outline of the state of South Carolina with like CKU in it, orange. It was a legitimate shirt. I think Somewhere it's probably really small though. Drew came up with the design. It was big time. It was big time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Cliff.
Sweet. Thank y'all.